That sounds good. Okay. Holy shit, there's a thing in here. In this small, beautiful German town of Cocrem in the Rhineland, General Kammler rolled in with a small SS unit of 18 men in order to establish an underground tunnel factory in an old abandoned rail tunnel built by Ludendorff in 1917. It had since been abandoned, but stretched through the mountainside for about 2,600 meters, with enough space for 21,000 square meters of workspace. This was to be created for the company of Bosch in order to make electronic equipment for the aircraft industry. It was codenamed Seisig, or A7. An SS headquarters was set up in the town, and a labor camp was established on March 24, 1944. The first 300 prisoners arrived from Natzweiler in order to begin clearing the tunnels. In total, some 2,000 prisoners would eventually be assigned to the site, as well as skilled laborers. Production was done here at the site, but for some reason there has been a very extensive effort on behalf of the German government to destroy the location and all its documentation and information related to the wartime production. The tunnel was blown up several times, the last time in recent decades. So Markus and I wanted to take a look at the tunnel entrance and explore the site and maybe try to work out why exactly that is. It's probably one of the more beautiful scenic places I've been. Probably was not the most favorite place of some people, and I guess you by now guessed what we're doing.
So, Tino, give me your equipment, please.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, hang on. This. Yep. Okay. Hold up mein Licht. Moment. So yeah. Another tunnel in Germany that was blown as usual, because that is just the way we travel. And you're through. Yeah, they blew it decently.
Also das ist alles mit den Schläuchen ist relativ neu.
This is new.
Ja.
And then this is the old.
Hier ist auch der Deckel, der alte, der oben drauf lag.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay, that's perfect. So here we go. You can see this is new, isn't it?
Das ist, also die Trennwand ist alt.
That's old.
Yes.
Oh, there's...
Timo, soll ich irgendwas festhalten?
No. That sounds good. Okay. Holy shit, there's a thing in here. Ooh. Holy shit.
So, this is a ventilation machine. And you must... And there is the first room. Also hier ist dann schon zugesprengt.
Yeah.
Weiter kommt man von dieser Ecke hier nicht.
So what did they build in here?
Zündkerzen.
Zündkerzen?
Ignition.
Detonators?
No, motor. Not diesel?
Starters.
No, not starters. Ignition for the motor, für Benzinmotoren. Diesel zündet ja selbst.
Yeah. Oh, starters.
Und Zündkerzen.
So they built starters for the war effort. And you have the cable attachments on the walls. Awesome. This place. Oh, the battery goes right in my backpack. There's the engineer's room, workroom. How long was this? 400 meters? No. This was bigger, wasn't it?
The tunnel was 2 kilometers and 500 meters.
2 kilometers. So the technical tunnel?
Nein, das hier hat vor kurzem erst jemand gemacht. Das ist die einzige Möglichkeit, um unter dieser Sprengstelle durchzukommen. Weil hier in der Mitte läuft ein Abwasserkanal. Wenn du dich jetzt da rein begibst, dann musst du unter dieser Sprengung durchkrabbeln, wenn das geht, ja?
Wenn das geht, ja, für kleine Leute wie ich.
Und hier ist irgendwo dann auch der Weg zum Notausgang, ja?
Oh, there was an emergency exit.
Ja.
Oh, wow.
Aber du siehst, es ist ziemlich baufällig, dass dir gleich was auf den Kopf fällt.
It does look a little pregnant.
Ja.
Oh, yeah.
Filmst du schon, oder?
Yes, I do. When I start speaking poorly English, that's because I'm starting to tell people what I'm doing. But yeah. So is it blown up on the other side?
On the other side is any possibility to go inside.
There is or isn't?
The only possibility is here to look at these
artifacts. So the other side is completely destroyed as well.
Yes.
So this is the last piece of the history of this place.
On the other side are more artifacts with small shelters and auf der anderen Seite ist auch die Einspeisung mit der Elektroleitung.
Oh. So they built this back in the tunnel was built back in the at the time of World War I. And then yeah, that's sort of the original. And then they came in World War II and rebuilt it for production. So this started with being a part of the west wall in some way. And then it continued to be used in World War II in some way. an artifact with a cable. This is really cool. This is, I mean, the bricks falling down is probably less cool, but well, you gotta go with it. And you see the old cables from World War II there. It is so nice and peaceful and quiet in here, isn't it? In tunnels, it's always so quiet.
Ja.
Is this an emergency exit?
No, also ich denke, das ist sogar eine vorgesehene Sprengkammer vom Ersten Weltkrieg. Man hat ja im Ersten Weltkrieg auch schon Sprengkammern.
Oh, yeah. Place to put the explosives. This is such an enormous ventilation. It's the first I've actually seen. You can probably get through there. I cannot.
Bitte?
Maybe. Oh, hang on. We have a way. We have a way. Let me show you something. So, this is where it's going to go.
Ja, da geht das Rohr weiter. Und da hat keiner, da müsste man jetzt das komplette Rohr rausholen, um da weiterzukommen.
And then there's the big one.
Oder man krabbelt nur dem Rohr entlang. Natürlich jede Menge Leute auf der anderen Seite den Notausgang zu finden. Da ist ein Gewühle ohne Ende. Aber da haben wir immer Glück gehabt, wenn es jetzt ein paar Tage später wäre, wäre das wieder zu.
Ja. Ja. That really is a. That's a big thing.
Das ist ein Belüftungsgerät.
Well, it's a big thing.
Ja.
So they had this. Was this a heater?
Was?
This coil? Was that a heater? To
Das habe
put
ich
in
mich
front.
auch gerade gefragt, ob man da die Luft angewärmt hat, weil hier ist ja noch mal so ein Teil hier vorne.
Yeah. It's possible. So there's a foundation for a machine.
Ja. Vielleicht für das anzutreiben.
Oh, yeah.
Guck mal, da ist ja das, hier war ja das Antriebsrad. War wahrscheinlich über Transmission angetrieben. Und hier siehst du auch, dass es Ende des Krieges ist. Es sind lauter Aluminiumdrähte anstatt Kupfer.
Oh, yes. Everything got cheaper.
Und
and
mit einer Papierdichtung.
You're right. There's another one over there. I think it might be a heater, but somebody will tell us in some time.
Hier, das sind natürlich die Elektroleitungen gelegt worden.
Ja.
Ich kannte noch einen Mann, der hat die Elektroleitungen gelegt in Pommern.
Really?
Ja, aber der ist mittlerweile leider auch tot.
That, yes. Right, I'm not gonna forget my bag. Maybe.
Bist du so nett, Timo, läuft es noch mal in die Richtung?
Yep.
Ja, super. Geh vielleicht mehr nach links. Noch ein bisschen mehr. Nee, nach links.
Oh.
Super. Danke.
Well, apparently I can't tell the difference between left and right in German anymore. It happens all the time. We all get older. So what's in here? In the little house? Wow. It's not that rusty. Let's see, part of. Anything in there? Is there room? Raum, oder?
Da ist nur noch ein ganz kleiner Raum, der ist aber verschüttet. Hier vor war ein großes Betonrolltor, was man dann bei Bombenangriffen zugefahren hat.
Ah. Und das gibt natürlich auch nicht mehr.
Das Betontor gibt es noch, das ist irgendwo verschüttet oder so.
Gibt's das? Ist es hier? Oder die Rest davon?
Ich meine vor dieser Wand hier. Scheiß Ding. Ja, wunderbar. Meine Freundin, die kriegt eine Krise, wenn ich dir die Fotos zeige.
So. Steel beam. Let's see what weird things we find. You never know. Maybe somebody left a diary in here. And if they did, well, huge rolling door. Awesome. Yeah, here's all the technical stuff on the walls. You want to go first so I can light you up?
Yes, thank you.
I will. For some reason, going up is easier than coming down. Sometimes. All good.
Ich meine, Timo, hier wo ich drauf stehe, das ist das Betonrolltor. Zumindestens der Rest davon.
The rest of them, yeah. Well, yeah, there's space between, there's daylight between this.
Das hat nämlich keine Verbindung zu dieser Mauer.
Genau. That's what I was thinking. This could be the armored door. Ends right there. That's a hell of a thing. Can't read it anymore. Wow. Yeah, that's right. But, well, no, that thing. This thing was... Who owned the factory? Was this... Bosch. Oh, so. That's ganz möglich. No, you might be right. This could be the door. Because it's about half as wide as this room. So if it would slide all the way up to the wall, then there would be have been a door under here. Yeah. It could slide a little bit further over before everything decided to blow itself up. Yeah. So somewhere underneath there's rollers.
Das sind unten drunter auch angeblich Rollen, also man sieht es in der Zeichnung von dem Werk ziemlich deutlich.
How long do you think it's going to take for us to restore it, make it operational? A summer and 20 volunteers?
Yes. Also ich weiß, die Franzosen wollten die Zündkerzenproduktion ja wieder aufnehmen. Aber als die Amerikaner abzogen und die Franzosen kamen, da waren an manchen Stellen so Löcher von 2 bis 3 Tagen.
Ja.
Und in der Zeit hat die Bevölkerung hier aus den umliegenden Dörfern alles, was nicht nied- und nagelfest war, rausgerissen.
Natürlich.
Kabel, Wände, diese BIMS-Platten, die da unten liegen, habe ich sogar noch eine bei mir im Haus eingemauert, die dann jemand mit dem Boot wahrscheinlich quer über die Mosel rübergenommen hat.
So the French wanted to take the machinery, but in the period of time after the Americans turned it over, the local inhabitants cleaned it out for everything. I mean, there's been a war for 5 years, 6 years. You couldn't get anything, so here it is.
Yes, but from this tunnel exists in the National Archives in Washington. You can see the capturing by American troops, and you see photos when American soldiers examine this tunnel. You can see the what's the word in English? Die Drehbänke, the turning machine to make these.
That's good to know.
But when also ich bin ja im Moment mit dem John Proven ein neues Konzept am machen und er wollte in den National Archives, die sind geschlossen. Er hat nicht die Möglichkeit, da reinzukommen.
Really?
Ja.
Was that recently? Because I communicate with them all the time, no problem.
Also vor kurzem, ja, vor einem Monat oder 2.
I was communicating with them just before I got here.
Ja.
But sometimes they're not always easy to deal with. And sometimes I found links that disappear.
Ja.
And it's a little strange with the National Archives sometimes. Sometimes always. Well, at least they built an entrance. Someone. We must remember to send them a card to say thank you for building us a hole. Now I'll step on this, and if I fall down, I'll try to do it gracefully. Another tunnel system that somewhat survived. And as you can clearly tell, we have observed the main safety requirements. He wore a soft hat, and I have gel in my hair, so we're good. That is where the emergency exit would be. And that's the water retainer down there.
Genau.
Wow, we were a lot deeper than I thought. 1,500 tons of cement, 275 tons of machine iron, and 550 tons of construction iron was used for the construction of the entrance, security and bunkers, as well as 200,000 bricks. Total cost at 3.5 million Reichsmarks. The day-to-day operations was conducted by SS Hauptsturmführer Gerrit Oldenburghus, and his deputy was SS Untersturmführer Karl-Heinz Burkhardt. We're going to cross the mountain to the other side and take a look at the entrance there. This is on the other side of the mountain, where the other tunnel entrance once was. And of course, that was demolished as well. But there's some bits and pieces in here. I wanted to see what is still left to see.
Die Leute an zu buddeln.
Natürlich, und hier ist eine Plattform hier.
Ja.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of cement sitting around here. Concrete pieces. Yep.
Ich meine, hier hat man früher ein Kabel rausgeguckt, dass das hier das Endstück von dem, von dem Erdkabel gewesen ist.
You had a cable here for
For energy.
Oh, this is where the
Yes. The cable came from an
overhead.
In German, Überlandleitung
Yeah.
in the Eifel. It went down to the Moselle, a little valley. Then there was a Umspann station beside an old Bahnwärterhaus, and it went down under the Moselle and came up here. And this station I've seen in the 70s when I was a child, and go to my grandmother near Trier. I have seen this building.
And then it came up somewhere around here.
Yes, I think I have seen former times a big cable of aluminium coming out of the bottom. But where it exactly was, I don't know. And here, I think, here you see a small rest from the big one I've at my home.
Oh yes. This is for one of the porcelain condensers.
Yes.
You would have all the cabling, just like with the trains and everything else. These were very large. I guess they look a little bit like plates. So yeah, here's definitely a little platform. A red brick
And
surround.
there, and I think this is the place, when you have this plan from Bosch, you can see the location of the emergency exit of this site. And I think they suppose that this was the ancient or old emergency exit here, and try to come in the tunnel from this direction. From
So-
the other direction you see is impossible.
Do you think was the emergency exit built for the Bosch project or before for the rail?
For the Bosch project.
For the Bosch project.
It's the same scene and on the other side. You have the tunnel reinforced with concrete, reinforced with a big door from concrete you can close, and beside there's a smaller entrance like at the Maginot Linie. They have the entrance of ammunition, a big entrance and a small entrance for personnel. I think the same you can imagine is here. You have a big entrance for the material to put the candles or something else outside, and material inside, and also an emergency exit or probably an exit, an entrance for people. And I think they suppose that it's here. This here is all newly made when the book was...
Oh, somebody's been in here digging.
Yes,
Oh.
some years ago. You find anything here.
Well, we're not going to get in there. Any of us. I mean, I guess we have to dig a lot more.
There was another theoretical possibility. The tunnel in the middle you have seen had a a small canal for the water.
Yeah.
And this part of the tunnel is deeper than the other part. The water is flowing into the Mosel, and we can see a tunnel, small, where's water is coming out. And people thought always, when you go through this tunnel, you come under the block. Diese Sprengstelle kommt man drunter durch, but this is also blocked and the water is flowing beside the blocks in this small...
Yes, climbing up against water into an underground tunnel. This seems like a bad idea.
Yeah.
For so many reasons. So that means a big entrance is going to have to be here somewhere next to this, or where it was.
The big entrance is in this direction now.
A lot of debris. I think they blew this up very, very well. This was blown up by the French, or?
It was blown up by the French, but the reinforcement on the top of the tunnel fall down, and people always said that you came in the tunnel behind this fallen down block of concrete, and then somewhere in the 80s it was completely demolished and it's done like here.
Ah, so it was done twice.
Yes.
Thank you to the German government once again for blowing up something we might have seen. Oh, did I say that loud?
I heard the story. This tunnel had, like the Cocrem tunnel, an aeration
Ventilation shaft.
Ventilation shaft like the tunnel in Cocrem. And somebody had told me that another one had climbed down with ropes this ventilation shaft, and he saw at the bottom of the tunnel grenades and something else. But these are all rumors. Possible is, in fact, that the French army took all the ammunition which was found after the war and blowed it up in the tunnel with the rest. Yes.
So, I mean, the only way to find out is to pinpoint the two entrances and then walk over the mountain.
Yes.
So when one of you guys feel like doing that, you just go ahead.
No, this ventilation shaft today is completely filled.
Oh,
it's
that
closed.
too?
Yes. They had filled it at the same time when they made this here, I thought. But I must ask this man who has written the book. It's the best way.
Yes. Well, it's not a surprise. Was this the same period of time when they blew up a lot of the West Wall bunkers in the 80s?
No, in the 80s they don't blow them up. They meisel them smaller with buggers and with other things, and then they übererdet them.
That's right, they ground them up and turned them into roads. I remember.
Hier siehst du auch noch Metallteile. Also die Leute, die da gegraben haben, die haben das dann meistens immer hier hingelegt. Ja. Es hat auch mal Bombensplitter hier gelegen.
Die Schwarze auf diesen Steinen, sind das Wasserschütz?
Bitte?
Die schwarze auf die Seite auf diesen Steinen, sind das Malung oder Wetterschutz?
Das ist Isolierung.
Isolierung. Ja, ich weiß, es heißt nicht Wetterschutz, aber was
Ja,
ist water resistant?
Das ist eine Bitumen.
Ja, ja.
Das macht man ja heute zum Teil. Ne?
So this was different. This was definitely. So this, yes. Yeah, you see all the water resistant material in all these. We are now. Yeah, when they decided to blow this up, they decided to do it really, really well. At least they'll give you an idea of the rebar and the stones. And interesting enough, if this is the roof of the tunnel, then the floor is really not very high. There must be at least a staircase down here. This must have been the exit or the shelter. It's a wall there. Turn it into a museum sign. I'll put up something happened here. Oh, someone blew it up. And this is green. This must have been, this is interesting, original color. Actually, see, the closest thing we get to the inside is that actually you got the paint here. There would have been buildings and stuff out here as well. At least some sort of support. On the other side, it's been destroyed completely. At least there we could get in.
Also hier, das ist ziemlich frisch, würde ich sagen.
What is it? Oh,
Quite fresh.
yes, it looks okay. Yeah, nice and clean. Huh. So here was a platform, or with some serious rebar in it. That's rebar. And it's just sitting here. That's just sitting there. Whatever current excavation over there, tunnels are 50, 60 meters beyond. And a piece of cement up there. Wonder if there was more in here. Hard not to wonder sometimes. Foundation of a house, or a building, or.
Or they thought this is an emergency entrance. I don't know.
That's the problem. When the government starts covering things up and locking them up and say you can't go, it doesn't work because there's always somebody who wants to know.
Yes.
It's better just to open it up and say, all right, let's go have a look. But no.
You see it in the Maginot Line. They filled it with earth. They
yeah, all the time. Oh, build up, brick, something. No.
So at the end of the area is a small box of concrete. I don't know what it is.
That way?
Or we must climb a little bit down.
I was wondering about this square. This must be an outer piece. Huh. So this is the other side of the mountain. Not much left here, but a lot of rubble. And there was more here to be seen, but then again, if you took the large bunker on the other side, the emergency exit and the water tower, and blew that up, you might get something like this. But let's see what else he has to show down here. Something over here. Okay.
Ja, man sieht aber überall, wo die Fußspuren hinführen, da ist es.
Huh. Well, since there's a door, could it just have been a little building? A little Flieger? Was a Fliegerschutz? Oder?
Aber the
Nicht.
ceiling is very...
And there was no... Yeah, there's a...
I think this is the rest, but it's very thin.
It is. Technical building?
Probably.
Is there any mounts on the walls for cables? Coming in. Any cable mounts?
Yeah.
Anything? Any except for plants that seem to be hanging to the walls with no problem whatsoever. Huh. It's an interesting little bunker. I don't know what else to call it. And there's a little chimney.
Yes. Or... Yeah,
There's a whole lot. Antenna, radio. No, there's no reason for them to have radio. Would there be any reason for them to have radio?
I don't know.
It's a factory. Was the Luftwaffe putting up any flak here?
Yes.
So maybe it was the Luftwaffe flak bunker, where they had communication so they could get warning when planes was approaching.
This is possible, because one of the people of Pommern sees a barrel of a 2 centimeter quadruple cannon, and it's damaged by a bomb attack.
Okay.
It was marked War 4 or War 3, I don't know exactly, and I always had the idea to change with him. He wanted to build up with a pole for a staircase, and I want to give another pole for that.
Yes, would he please not build use a flak, a damaged flak gun for construction? Having a heart attack. And we're what, 200 meters away from the tunnel entrance? It's not entirely impossible. I can see that being a little... There must have been a close defensive team for flak and stuff. I could see that. There must have been quite a few more buildings outside than we can see. What's this? Oh, piece of a tree. Never mind.
That is terrible. Sometimes they dig up a lot of bomb splinters, but they are all gone.
They would be.
They laid it beside on the tree. I have 3 or 4 at my home, but the rest I left here was taken as a souvenir, I think.
Yeah. There's rebars sitting there as well. See? These are not flat, this is a semi-round. You can see it, but if you look from the top, there's a slight curve to this. And here's more debris. This is a plateau. Little forest road down to our left. tunnels up there, straight up, and then a little bit to your right. Bits and pieces sticking out everywhere over the forest floor. I mean, big heavy buildings they were not, but a lot of buildings they were, because they're just taking up a lot of real estate. All the stuff I'm walking on is not rocks, it's pieces of building. And interesting enough, it's another one of those curved pieces. This is a very large curve. If this was part of a house, it could be part of I guess the tunnel entrance itself. There's another hole. But could be part of the roof of the actual tunnel. This would turn into a very large hole. Paul would be able to extrapolate how big an arch would be from that. Now he's gonna yell at me because I didn't measure it. Sorry, Paul.
So you can see also the ground structure. And beside like this is also this. Yes, this is green one. I have another piece on in my house, and on the other side of them they're mostly brown isolations.
Would they change color depending on what kind of current or where from?
I think they use what they have.
Oh, that's true. There's also that.
And here's a piece of late wall aluminium wire.
Oh yes.
And this is the end glass. It's the bottom of an old beer bottle. Copper.
Oh.
They used aluminium late war. Or in Germany, they had for telephone at the railways, they had the so-called Hitlerdraht. It was a heavily coppered iron file, and when I was young, we scrapped a lot of Schrott. We can jump to have more Taschengeld, and then we went to the Schrotthändler. He take a magneto and cut, and then he told me this is a typical Hitlerdraht. It's not copper, it's iron coppered. Terrible. But it was so thick coppered that you see any rust when you have broken.
Wow.
You see the copper, and inside you see the iron. That's terrible.
As a conductor. The iron as a conductor.
Yes. Oh, look at this one. It was originally probably very deep, because here, like.
Oh, there's a ladder there. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so why is there a ladder down there? It must have been deep, whatever this is. I guess if we come back in 6 months, somebody will have dug it up?
Yes.
Good. Keep me posted. Find the teenagers doing this and have them call me. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Maybe this was an entrance. Of all the places I've seen here, if I was going to start digging anywhere, this would probably be it. And we're surrounded by a little berm to begin with here. So much hiding underground. And it's still interesting because we know what it was, but we don't know exactly what it was. Yes. They're just excavating around every block they find out here. I applaud the effort. Hope they find something. Let us all know. And certainly flat, water-resistant tar. On here is all water-resistant. See the stripes. Could be a floor section. Yeah, this looks like a platform if anything ever did.
The cellar.
A cellar?
Yes. Because in former times this was open. This was closed.
A cellar for what?
I don't know.
Haha.
And this is the place I've told you.
Oh yes, the water.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? I don't think anybody would be going in there, so.
It's like on the other side. It's in the middle of the tunnel. And some people thought when you go inside, you come under this
Technical tunnel.
under these unter der gesprengten Stelle praktisch.
Yeah, under the stuff that, yeah.
Come in the tunnel. But this is also blocked by a big amount of concrete, and the water is pressing through these big blocks.
Yeah, this it doesn't feel like it free flows. I have a lamp in here. Maybe. Sit.
Also soweit ich leuchten kann, wäre noch frei, aber angeblich liegt das Lehrer dahinter blockiert.
Yeah. Well, one day. First we'll squeeze a teenager through there.
Yes.
Somebody very thin and fit. But the construction looks like it matches, and there's a pipe running into this building to the right.
Yes. Das kann sein, dass da auch noch eine...
But there's no water coming out of it, is there? Could be an overflow chamber or something.
This is possible.
Yeah. I wish there was more to show you here, but the continuous destruction had us puzzled. After all, most of the rail underground factories have been mostly left intact. But maybe more documentation will come to light in the future. Behind me is Werner von Braun's first test stand. Down the road is Diebner's nuclear reactor. Over there is the Maginot Line and all its amazing forts. I'm visiting them all and I'm bringing them to you. So I really appreciate you like, follow, and share what I'm doing, trying to document all these important historical locations. And if you feel like you want to watch more pictures or documents that I use for these, go to lostbattlefields.com. And if you feel like helping me out with my travels, because gasoline and travel and airfare is expensive, my PayPal is there, protectionserviceint.com. You are more than welcome, but you don't have to. I appreciate all your support and all your help, and I love seeing these locations, and I love bringing them to you.